All right. So now is the time that we first of all switch back to English. So we all come back from Cape Town speaking a little better English, yeah? And we can brag about the English skills on the flight back. And I'm way more excited. I'm way more excited that this gentleman is going to have his talk. So Brian, thank you. You came like a long way.
Yeah.
And Brian also told me just now that it's the biggest German-speaking speech he ever held. I mean, like not German-speaking speech, but like he never talked in front of so many Germans.
Yes.
Isn't that exciting?
It is, yes.
Let's make it a good first impression.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you, bro, that you're here.
Thank you.
I'm super stoked, so I'm going to take some notes now, yeah?
Appreciate it, yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate Anton and Philip for inviting me. And funny story, I met them about 2 years ago, I think it was, at Cole Gordon's 8-figure boardroom mastermind. And we immediately hit it off because we were both agency owners, obviously, and talking about agency problems. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Brian Moncada. I'm the founder of adspend.com. I've had my YouTube ads agency for the past 4.5 years, coming up this March. And you know, I've worked with some of the biggest names in the space, which I'll go into in a second. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this specific topic is because last year was our biggest year ever, but I made a lot of mistakes in the process. We've grown year over year. However, you know, it's never a smooth ride, obviously. And my goal today is to share with you all the learning lessons that I had, and ultimately how we were able to scale our agency past the 200K a month mark, which I couldn't break for a long time. So hopefully, obviously, I can give you guys a lot of insights. And if there's one thing you take away, you know, that's all that means to me. And if you have any questions at the end, I'll be happy to answer them. Sound good? Cool. Thank you, guys. All right, so let's get into it.
Sorry, Brian. Sorry to interrupt you. Like, quick thing. Like, we're gonna do like Brian's talk, and then Niels is gonna do like a marketing talk, and then after that, we're gonna do like a bigger like marketing Q&A. So I'm sure like everyone can ask like questions in between. Just keep that in mind that afterwards we do like a proper marketing Q&A.
Sure. Awesome. Cool. So today I'm going to talk about again how I couldn't scale my agency past the 350K a month mark until I started selling what I'm calling the hybrid offer. And basically, it's a way I've been able to productize my done-for-you YouTube ads agency and scale it with cold traffic, specifically paid ads, and being able to enroll 20 plus clients a month. Plus, again, like a bunch of learning mistakes I made. So here's what I'm going to cover very simply. Again, how I scaled my agency to 7 figures in less than 2 years without cold calling, cold emailing, or paid ads. And this might be something that none of you are doing, or might be something that you are already doing. But I'm going to give you a different perspective because this is what allowed me to be able to make paid ads work. If I didn't do this one thing, like paid ads probably would be way harder for me. But it's because I did this that it made everything easier. So I'll share what that is, obviously. Why I couldn't scale past 200K a month consistently, and you'll understand how simple this is in theory, but in the thick of your agency, you might be like trying to, like I was, like just continuously beat your head against the wall and trying to make it scale with the current offer you have in the current market, but you're just hitting this brick wall and you can't seem to break past it. That was the same for me. And it happened for, about a year or two before I realized like I had to do something very different. And I'll show you obviously what I did. And then last but not least, I'm gonna explain my offer. I'm gonna share everything with you, how it works, how we sell it, the price points, how we deliver on it, and how clients get really good results. And then what I learned, the mistakes I made, and obviously maybe 1 or 2 Q&As, and then we can obviously do the bigger Q&A in the marketing section. So again, quick 1-minute intro. I actually got my start as a media buyer for Dean Graziosi. I worked for him for 3 years, full time. I learned YouTube ads from the ground up working for his business. So I had an unlimited test budget. So I was able to spend as much as I needed to hit the company goals. And that was a good part about learning. I worked for him, like I said, for 3 years. I got my first 2 Comma Club award working with him and his companies. I spent about $4 million with him across multiple different offers, like low ticket, mid-ticket webinars, free plus shipping book offers, high-ticket book a call funnels, everything you can imagine we tested, specifically in the US market. So I ran all those offers with YouTube ads specifically, and I learned a lot from working with him. And that's what allowed me to start my agency very easily because of the experience I gained with him. So far, we've made over $7 million as a company in the last few years. We've had a less than 2% refund rate. Our highest customers have spent over $200,000 with us. And this is, again, just me being as transparent as possible with what I've learned. Last year, our agency spent close to $20 million on YouTube ads across our clients and our consulting clients as well. So we have real data, obviously, in what's working right now, including for our company. And these are maybe people you guys recognize. Sam Ovens, obviously, partnered with me on WeTube to teach YouTube ads to all of his clients. Ty Lopez interviewed me last year, which is really cool. I remember seeing Ty Lopez here in my garage ads when I was, in high school or something, 2016, 2017. And him asking me YouTube ads questions like almost 10 years later was pretty surreal. Cole Gordon, obviously, like Philip talked about already, Charlie Morgan, Rian Doris, Will Brown, all people that have either paid me, partnered with me, or interviewed me in some capacity. And so again, like I said, I worked for Dean for almost 3 years, but the biggest takeaway that I got from Dean, which is exactly the biggest takeaway I want to give to all of you to use if you're not yet doing this to grow your agency, Dean would always say one thing to me, and it was, I owe all of my success to masterminds. I owe all of my success to masterminds. He would always repeat that mantra to us in his internal marketing company. And I heard it so much from him that I eventually had to have a breakthrough and realize, okay, if I wanted to make more money with his company, if I wanted to add more value to his business, I have to obviously, be able to add more value to make more money, right? So if I can invest in myself to go to a mastermind like he did, I can be able to add more skills and then be able to make more money for his company. So I ended up investing my own money in joining a mastermind. And that was actually this guy's mastermind right here. His name's Vince Del Monte. He was actually a fitness business mastermind. Now, I went to this fitness business mastermind because at that time, I wanted to make money online. I wanted to start something on the side. And then I thought it was going to be an online fitness business. I was doing a YouTube thing at the time, documenting my fitness journey. As you can see, I'm not very buff, so that probably wasn't going to work out for me. But at that mastermind, Vince Del Monte told me, he was like, yo, dude, you got to cut the fitness stuff out. Like, I was introducing myself. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Brian Moncada. I run ads for Dean Graziosi, but I'm trying to build this fitness business. And in front of a room of 200 plus people, he was like, well, I'll tell you right now, dude, you got to stop doing the fitness stuff. And I was like, I just flew all the way here from Canada, or from the United States to Canada for the first time. And I was like, what? And he's like, we'll talk. And at lunch, he was like, yeah, dude, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know, man. I came here to build a fitness business online and like build my personal brand. And he's like, well, dude, do you want to be like teaching how to get bigger biceps when you're 35? And I was like, I mean, I've never thought about it like that, I guess. He was like, dude, you are literally running ads on YouTube for one of the biggest personal brands in this space. Everybody in here needs what you do. If you just did that, you would make way more money. You're like basically stepping over dollar bills to chase pennies. And that moment, it didn't feel good to hear that at the time. I went home and I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, I paid this guy all this money to come out here, and he helped me see the idea that I could build my own YouTube ads agency, and then I actually ended up getting my first few clients at that same mastermind, and then the idea became the light bulb moment that started adspend.com. And so the reason why I joined the mastermind, because I saw the idea, right? And then I actually met Rudy Maurer, who's a good friend now, and that actually allowed me to get on the stage and speak about YouTube ads to all of Vince's clients. I got more clients, started building my client base. Again, all referrals, word of mouth. And the reason why I kind of had to do it this way, even though I didn't really do anything else, was because I was still also working for Dean, right? So I didn't want it to interfere with my full-time job. So I kind of had to go around it without being too obvious that I was trying to build my own thing, if that makes sense. You can imagine this scenario, right? Like, you really love the job you're working with. Like, you've learned so much. You owe all your success to this person. You don't want to leave. But at the same time, like, you have so much opportunity on your own, and you know you're going to do your own thing eventually. But you can't talk about it publicly because they watch everything, right? And like, you obviously don't want to be that guy that's like, you don't want to be the guy that feels like you're maybe impeaching or something. And so I kind of had to just do it this mastermind way. So I started getting clients this way. And then the reason why I was able to work with all these clients that I showed you on the last screen was because I knew if I just got 1 or 2 big clients, that would change everything for me. I would get the case study and case study and case study. And so Vince actually introduced me to Bedros Keuilian. Got a testimonial from Bedros. Who here knows who Bedros Keuilian is? Anybody? Okay, just one. Well, then that doesn't mean much now. Frank Kern. Do you guys know who Frank Kern is? Okay, Frank Kern, right? So Frank Kern, OG copywriter, he's still doing it to this day. Another big case study I got in the very beginning of my agency. I had to follow up with them for like 2.5 months, just constantly following up with them. Someone earlier said they grew their agency with Loom videos. Right here, yeah. So I was doing that as well, personalized Loom videos. I got Frank Kern as a client, did my job with him for free. He ended up introducing me to Roland Frazier. You can see all those intros to, I think he introduced me to Roland Frazier. There's a couple other people in there. So he actually hired me, then he introduced me to Roland Frazier. I ended up joining Roland Frazier's mastermind now. So again, timeline here. Vince Del Monte's mastermind. Then I join War Room, which is Roland Frazier's mastermind, because Roland Frazier becomes a client of ours. We start working with him, and then he invites me to speak on his stage for digitalmarketer.com. Do you guys know who Roland Frazier is? No? Okay, one person, yeah. So he's older, let's say that, right? But he invites me to speak on his stage. So again, using what I have, I get a testimonial from Roland, another case study in the US marketplace. He's pretty big. Digital Marketer is a big brand. Roland introduces me to everybody. Again, all word of mouth, like referrals, no ads, no outreach, just doing great work besides the Loom video. And then I just keep rolling, I just keep doubling down basically. At this point, I'm obviously doing my own thing. Then I joined Cole Gordon's mastermind, 8-figure boardroom. He asked me to speak there. This is before Anton and I met, and Philip and I met. And then I get a testimonial from Cole. And then this is where everything starts really going crazy. And then I joined Quantum again. I just keep joining mastermind after mastermind after mastermind after mastermind, because my biggest problem was I knew that my clients, the ones that I wanted to work with, like the heavy hitters in the industry, they're not gonna basically click on an ad and like buy from you. They're in rooms like this, paying for access to learn how to get to their next level. So I knew if I could just spend my marketing budget on my P&L to invest in a mastermind, which if you think about it, in a year time frame, let's say the mastermind's $36,000 for the year, it's $3K a month, right? Could you invest that money in ads? Sure. Could I invest that money in a mastermind and get around the people right away? Of course. And I knew for me, my personality type, probably like some of you, you're really good with people, right? And you're not like a pushy, typical, like, you know, like trying to take from people. You want to actually add value. So I knew if I could just spend time with them in person, they would like me, know me, trust me. You obviously trust more people that you actually have in-person connections with. And then I can just add value to them, and eventually they're going to want to work with me, right? So that's how I grew my agency to 7 figures, with just investing in masterminds. So I would encourage each and every one of you, if you're not in any other masterminds besides this, obviously continue staying in this one, right? But if you have access to other masterminds where you could spend your marketing budget to get in a room full of other target market that you guys serve, I mean, there's no better ROI than that I've found, which is why I continue to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year into masterminds, courses, coaching programs, not just to keep growing, obviously, for yourself, but because it exposes your brand to way more people in the marketplace, and it's the best ROI you'll have in your marketing, hands down, even coming from the guy that has the company adspend.com. So a little pro tip. So that's how I grew my agency. No cold email, no ads, no anything. And of course it leads to partnerships. I mean, this was the biggest thing for me. Sam Ovens asked me to partner with him on WeTube, and he's like the exact opposite of me. Like, this guy's like introverted, like he doesn't like talking to people, but then like, he's just like, yo dude, you want to partner and teach YouTube ads? And I was like, yeah. And so we ended up partnering together, and I taught YouTube ads to all of his clients. So we like ROI'd so much more. Like, this made me over $600,000 right here, just this one partnership from that one mastermind, which cost me $36,000. Plus, not to count, that was just $600,000 plus from Sam. Not to count all the clients that came from Sam's brand over the years since then. Does that make sense? Okay, so now, here was the problem though. That's all great. The problem still was, we were still doing strictly done for you for businesses that were making $100,000 a month, okay? Quick show of hands, I don't know what it is in the German marketplace, but like, how many businesses out there make $100,000 a month in your specific industry? Would you say it's, keep your hand up if it's more than 100,000?
More than 100,000 businesses.
$100,000 a month, more than 100,000 businesses making more than $100,000 a month. Okay, 5,000. No? 10,000? So the only one person has more than 100,000 businesses that make 100,000 a month businesses.
You're saying 10,000, right? 10,000 businesses.
10,000 businesses. Yes. Yeah.
In social recruiting?
In social recruiting?
Are you asking a specific niche?
Yeah, for you. Let's go with you instead of everybody because everyone's niche is different. So what's your niche? Social recruiting?
Automotive industry. So they have high volume but very low margin. This is what they have because they sell cars.
Okay, so let me make the example easier. So for me, right, I help coaching and course companies that sell info products and online education. How many coaches and consultants make over $100,000 a month? Barely, maybe 10,000. I would say that's the high end, maybe. Like that's a real conservative like estimate here. I would say less than 10,000, right? So, okay, if there's less than 10,000 and I'm trying to just sell this one offer, how long is it going to take me to work with all those clients, right? Like how long is it going to take me to hit my goals financially as a company? A long time. The majority of the market makes, would you say, less than 100,000, right? Okay, the majority of the market is actually, well, this is just a subset of the market. The other majority makes more like done with you. These are businesses making maybe, let's say, 20 to 100K a month, right? That's more people, but it's not this one right here that I was selling to. The majority of the market's 0 to 10K, right? Like they're not making much money. So the problem was if I wanted to grow my company, I either had to continue guerrilla roots marketing, like, you know, either go upstream and just say, okay, I'm just gonna continue working with these clients, but then maybe expand my TAM into other subsect niches, other adjacent marketplaces, or I'm gonna have to just charge more and figure it out. But every single time we would look at our applications of people that were applying to work with us, it was all these people right here, 0 to 10, 10 to 100, just beginners basically, right? And so that's when obviously, you know, in hindsight, it just makes so much sense. This is just having an offer suite and more products. Who's read the book Ready, Fire, Aim? Anybody? Ready, Fire, Aim. Okay, so what's the principle from 1 to 10?
It was a long time, like product market fit.
So product market fit from 0 to 1 million, yeah, 100%.
1 to 10.
From 1 to 10, so product market fit, right? What do you need to get product market fit? You need one offer to one avatar, one sales process, and basically just one marketing channel, right? That's how you get to 7 figures. Who?
1 to 10 was like 1 to 2 offers.
Yeah, that's how you get to 10 million. In the book, you create multiple offers to get to 10. And the problem was I was never gonna get to 10 if I just kept doing that one offer, because I dialed that offer in. Sales process, marketing channel, client avatar, fulfillment, everything. But it was just one offer. Like, I needed to create more offers. And so that whole premise of that book was you need to create more offers and more products and fulfillment systems to be able to scale to 10 million. And so when I realized that, that's when we created, so then basically what happened was I was on a sales call one day, and this client right here, he was like, hey man, can you, like, I really want you guys to help me, like set everything up with the ads, like on YouTube and everything, but can you guys just like teach me how to do it so I can just run it on my own? And I was like, yeah, probably. We've never done that before, but I can probably work something out. And he was like, cool, yeah, I would want that. I was like, okay. So I just customized something right there and I sold it to him for 20K. And he was like, yeah, I'm down. And I was like, what? Okay, so you just want us to set everything up and then you just want to run it yourself. And he's like, yeah, easy. 20K, great, perfect. So the next time someone else asked me that as well was this guy, and he was like, hey man, like I want to bring it in-house. Like I don't really want you guys to run it forever. Can you guys just like teach me how to do it after you set it up for me, and then once it's working I can just continue running it? And I was like, yeah. Now keep in mind, this is around the time that Hormozi dropped $100 million offers and leads. So what was his biggest message at that time to like marketing agencies when working with them? Do you guys remember?
Get within 6 months and like let them teach the team.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it says when you hire an agency, have them like work with an agency for the speed, but then have them teach you how to run it internally and then keep it in-house, right? So we just kind of leaned in on that angle and said, okay, well, if that's what the market wants, and they're asking me this now because they're reading that book, and he asked me the same thing, I was like, okay, and I sold it to him for, I think I sold it for 30K actually. I just kept raising it up because I was just like, let me see how much I can sell it for. And then that's what spurred basically me to ask my list, and I was like, okay, well, if these two people are asking me for it, I wonder if my list wants it. And at the time I had like, I don't know, 6,000 people on my list. And then I said, okay, I was just like, okay, what is this called? It's kind of like a done for you consulting offer. Let me just call it the hybrid offer. So I just came up with the word, and then I sent an email to my list, and I was like explaining what the offer is, and immediately I just packed my calendar with sales calls right there. And then we started selling it, and selling it, and selling it. And what is that, right? So like basically I was able to make 125K extra in 30 days, which is that one email to my list and that one promotion for my audience. Is this making sense so far? So what is it and how does it work, right? It's very simple actually. It's just, we took our initial agency service that was a done-for-you YouTube ads service where we write their scripts, create their ads, set up their campaigns, choose their targeting, build everything for them, and we just broke that out and put it into the first month, and then everything else after that is just one-on-one check-in calls. No done-for-you after that, which makes it way easier to productize our service. And so what I realized this works so well is because it's the done-for-you setup. And so I was always using the speed of getting set up and running so you don't have to worry about what buttons to push, what to click, what audiences to choose, all those things. We're just gonna do it for you, which is what they want. But what I wanted was a scalable offer that I can just plug somebody in every single time without having to worry about customization. Because that's what kept us stuck with the 100K a month plus clients, because every business was different. Every business had a different software, different funnel, different offer, low ticket, high ticket, whatever, right? This was specifically for high ticket coaches, consultants, and agencies that sell a $5,000 to $10,000 plus offer, VSL book a call funnel, right? And so here's how it works, right? So this was the actually that's not the right one. Well, this was the original. I put this in here to show you guys like how it's evolved. I just created a simple infographic like this. I called it the 16-week install process. And I only learned how to label the done for you and done with you after I had so many people coming through this product, which I'll talk about in my learning mistakes, that just were clearly not understanding the done for you versus done with you, which is the also downside of this offer, but you can set proper expectations, which we'll talk about. So month one, what happens? They get onboarded. We immediately do an offer call. If there's someone that just doesn't have their offer, their messaging, their packaging, their pricing dialed in, that's a consulting call, obviously. If they do, they're already making like, let's say 30K a month plus, we just go right to script writing. Script writing, we write their ads, then they film the ads, send them back to us, we do the editing on the ads, and then we launch them. It would take us 4 weeks to do this before. This was the bottleneck of this offer, okay? Because there was just a lot of contractors and things, and after month one, they're live, then we hop on a month two check-in call, month three, 12-week call, month four, next steps call. So this is how it started. Any questions on this? Make sense?
Are you going to talk about how you reduce the...
Yep. Yeah, I'll show you guys in a second. So that's how it started, right? So this is how we sold the majority of almost 200 clients last year with just this offer, like this map right here. And then the deliverables, so I had these three things. I literally had a Google Doc, and you can see all my sales calls from last year. I had one-page Google Doc with this underneath a list of deliverables. The offer was, we will build a proven YouTube ads system for your business that gets you consistent qualified leads, calls, and new clients. And then I just said, well, write your scripts, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, and then we'll coach you to do all these other things. And then I put this underneath it, and then the deliverables underneath that, and the support right next to the deliverables, and that was it. And I just walked them through this one-page Google Doc on the sales call, and I had my salespeople do the same thing, and this is how we sold it. We just clearly listed everything out. And then, why it works so well, especially to cold traffic, is because we lead with done for you. But the angle I was using was I was leaning into we're gonna set it up for your business, then we're gonna teach you and your team how to manage it in-house so you don't need us forever. Does that make sense? So and then at the end of the ads, I was saying this way, you can choose if you wanna continue having us run your ads, or if you wanna just run the ads yourself. The choice is yours. At least you're in control. See, our target audience, at least for business owners in America, they like to feel in control, right? They want to have control over their marketing. So I'm giving that to them with this offer, and I'm basically using it as the pitch. So it works so well because we were leading with done for you, YouTube ads, setup, one-time payment. No retainers, no rev shares, just a one-time payment. So that's all in all my ads. And then, this is basically how we enrolled almost 200 clients with this model in 2024. So we had YouTube ads, Facebook ads as well. It was to a landing page at first. We now just send them straight to application without even a VSL. And then in the back end, they were getting sent to email newsletter, YouTube organic. We had a setter as well, retargeting ads, qualify. If they're qualified, they get on the calendar. If they're not qualified, they get off the calendar. And in the background, once they land on the confirmation page and they book a call, what happens is, we just added this recently because I'm in another mastermind with Jeremy Haynes. Do you guys know who Jeremy Haynes is? Anybody? No? Okay, a couple people. So I'm in his mastermind as well, and he actually taught us a few new concepts that we're adding that I would add as well if you're running ads for your business. It's called the trust sequence emails and the content remarketing bins. So basically, whenever someone books a call, we have a like 3 to 4 day booking window, right? So between when someone books a call and they actually hop on the call, they're getting hit with 15 to 18 different emails every 3 hours from me, indoctrinating them with like frequently asked questions, expectation setting, overcoming objections, and framing material in the first 72 hours of them booking.
How many emails was that?
15 to 18. 3 from Calendly and 15 from ActiveCampaign. So it starts off with the number one objection. So I literally tell them, hey, first name, over the next 3 days, you're gonna get a number of different emails from me of frequently asked questions, our clients that always ask us before the sales call, to make sure that you have all your due diligence covered before you hop on the sales call. That way when we get on the call, we can just get right to work. So I pre-frame them knowing that they're gonna get all these emails. And then in that first email, I just talk about, okay, let's talk about the real objection you're probably gonna have when it comes to working with us. And the real objection is this going to work? Is the investment gonna pay off? Is this gonna actually make me money? And that one email is just literally giving them everything in terms of stats and data of the last 4 years of what we've done with our agency clients. And I show them less than 2% refund rate, 0.6 chargeback rate. Out of all the 600 clients we've worked with, we've only had 8 chargeback. And of those 8 chargebacks, only 5 were separate clients. 1 was from one client because he had 3 different payments. So I'm just giving them that transparency. Does that make sense? Then the next emails are like, okay, what's the time investment, right? What's the number one question you guys get from clients on sales calls? How much is it gonna take? How much time is it gonna take me, right? I'm just addressing that up front. You're gonna need to spend this much time in the first week filming, and then once you're done that, you're gonna hop on a call once a week with our team. Monitor the ads, just going through the breakdown step by step. I can show you guys these emails if you want, if it's easier too. I didn't put it in this slide, but I probably should have.
What is the thought behind it that you do like in the email sequence opposed to the sales call itself?
So yeah.
That might also create some objections that might not have been there in the first place. So, and also did you check the data before and after? Yep.
Yeah, our show rate. It's close to 70% right now.
Okay, so it's more about the show rate, less about the call close rate.
It's show rate and it's call conversion rate, because what are we trying to do right here? We're trying to increase show up rate, and we're trying to also increase on-call conversion rate. And so this strategy allows you to be able to, number one, get them to actually show up, which I'll show you right here. So can you guys see this? Okay, so there's these 15 different emails. So addressing the real objection, time investment, risk, upside, downside, safety in numbers, real scarcity, the grand narrative, and then it goes into frequently asked questions. So the whole point is just answering all their most common questions and objections for not working with us up front before the sales call, so we can build trust, create likability, and improve on-call conversion rates as well, because they can come to the call already expecting what's gonna happen when they talk to us and when they buy from us. So you would think, okay, well, fuck, if I'm gonna send 15 emails to them in 72 hours, that's gonna piss them off. I have a 60% open rate on these emails, all the way from email 1 to email 15. When they hop on the call, they're like, dude, I see you everywhere. You just literally blew up my inbox. And I'm like, you don't have that for your business? They're like, no. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to help you with that. Because their show rate's in the shitter. And it's they're getting super objections that they should be answering up front. And again, credit to Jeremy Haynes for teaching us this strategy, because this literally is what we implement for all our clients as well. Because right now, in the US market at least, I can speak for the US market, I don't know if it's the same in Germany. In the US market, competition is higher, cost per acquisition from ads is way higher than it was before, and people have been burned. There's FTC lawsuits that happen every other month at this point for some done-for-you Amazon FBA freaking offer, right? That just screws people over. And so, especially when you're selling to business owners like myself, you guys have questions. Like everybody has questions about how does this work? Okay, how do you charge? Who do I work with? Is it you? Is it your team? Like I'm just giving them everything up front so that way they can actually trust me. Because again, you guys have heard like people like, you guys know who Ravi Abuvala is? Ravi? So he's talking about how like, you know, people are saying you need at least 7 hours of content before someone actually ends up buying from you, right? We're just condensing that right here with this, condensing it. Because if someone clicks on an ad from you from cold traffic, the chances of them buying on the first call, at least in the US market for a 15K offer for us is like, they're gonna show up and say, yeah, I was just curious like how this works and like, what do you guys do? It's like, okay, well, can I walk that person down from ice cold to now like most aware of the product with these emails and with these content sequences? That's the whole point. And so that's one piece of it. The other piece is also, not only are we sending the emails to them, they're also getting hit with a $50 to $100 a day Facebook ad budget of 30 to 50 pieces of short form content being remarketed to them before they hop on the call. Those short form pieces are the same exact things I'm already talking about in the emails. Just bite-sized pieces for 60 seconds each. So you might click on my ad, book a call with me, and you might see me on your Instagram page pop up with an ad that says, a lot of business owners always ask me, how much time do I have to actually spend getting YouTube ads up and running? And here's the cool part, with our offer specifically, we get you launched in 7 days. With 7 days, you're gonna have your ads up and running, getting leads, and getting calls booked. Now, here's how much time you have to spend. 2 hours max on filming your VSL and your ads, and setting up a few things in your actual tech software. Let me ask you, is 2 hours worth your time as a business owner to potentially make an extra $100,000 a year or $100,000 a month on average when you set the system up? Well, here's clients like this and this who've done this in their businesses. So it's like just, again, framing material, saying the same thing with short form pieces. Does that make sense? Same thing with long form too. So how many of you guys post videos on YouTube? Cool. If you guys get somebody that books a call with you from YouTube, how much more likely are they to buy? Like, how much more likely? How much higher of a chance? A lot higher, right? For me, whenever someone comes through my funnel with YouTube, 80% close rate. Like my closer shouldn't even get paid 10% commission for that, to be honest with you. It's like they're just like order taking at that point. I heard Patrick Bet-David say that one time too. He was like, I'm changing my comp structure. He's like, if they're coming in from my brand, closers are only getting 5%. And I was like, fuck, that's fucking ruthless. But he was like, he's forcing them to go hunt basically. The point being though is with this long form piece, this short form piece, and this trust email sequence, you're trying to build a like, know, and trust factor before they actually book a call with you. So it just makes it easier to close, right? So again, $50 to $100 a day on that. That gets to them before they call. And then after the call, they either become a client or you put them back in the pipeline. So, yeah.
So what changed after you've done the email sequences and when you've done the retargeting stuff? You can give us some numbers.
Yeah, so our show rate before was like 45, like almost 50%. But now it's 68. So like almost 70. And the call conversion rate, like right now as it stands, is 30%, right? In terms of like just closing overall with offers made.
What we say more impact, the email series or the retargeting?
We rolled it out both at once for us, so it's hard to say. I couldn't measure it exactly like that. And for all our clients, we put them all in at the same time. So I don't know what it is like just by itself. You guys could test it, but I don't have that exact data. Yeah. I think you guys should. Yeah, 100%. Cool, any questions on this?
So when you're retargeting, so it's basically retargeting the people after booking a call before they get into the call?
Yes. The only way you can do this, by the way, which I think you're going to ask, is if you have enough call volume to do it.
Correct.
You need at least 100 calls every single month to be able to do this the Facebook ads stuff. You can still do the emails. I would recommend everybody does that. But the Facebook ads remarketing campaigns, you're going to need at least 100 people plus that are booking every single month.
Just use like a high risk to test market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can set it up with Zapier as well, or plug in basically everyone that's coming from your leads booked call list and just have it zapped right in.
What's the minimum size for retargeting these ads?
Yeah, it's 1,000. Yeah, so I wish I could do it on YouTube. But the way I figure it too is like if I'm running ads on YouTube and they're seeing me on Facebook, so yeah. Cool. So now someone asked me, am I going to show you guys how it works? So yeah, remember I showed you before how it was like a 30-day launch timeline? Well, at the end of last year, I was paying like $25,000 a month in like contracting fees for script writing and video editing. And we didn't have like they were all outsourced contractors. And so I looked at that and I was like, dude, if we just spent that money once to pay somebody to build out a process that allows us to launch clients within 7 days, how much more success would that give our clients? How much faster would we be able to get clients launched? How much more money would that save us in the long term? And so I spent about 20 grand plus paying for this new basically software that we're using, which is just custom. And it's just AI basically. And so what we're doing now is when someone books a call and they pay, after they pay and sign, they fill out an onboarding form. That one onboarding form is able to, which I'll just skip ahead right here, give us all these assets on day one for the client. And if I zoom in here, which is kind of hard to see, the trust flywheel sequences, the emails I just walked you through, those 15, done for them already. For their specific offer, their specific avatar, their specific pain points, customized to the questions that already we know that they need to be answered. Their hammer them short form pieces contents, the 50 pieces of short form and long form, done for them, given to them already. They just need to film them. Then objections, we also give them a sales script now, application form questions, done for them. The VSL script, done for them. The thank you page video, done for them. Landing page, done for them. Google Ads campaigns and targeting, done for them. Text ads, because now Google Ads with YouTube especially needs text ads for demand gen campaigns. Their video ad scripts are done. And then their, what we call the fast cash campaign is also done as well. So while this is being sent to them, we say, cool, while you're filming these ads, before you do, post this to your audience or your email list to start booking calls immediately. So day one, they're already going to start seeing some traction, some leads, some calls. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this has been huge. And like we've been able to launch clients in 7 days as a result. And so how do we do this? I mean, this is just very simple. It's just, we're leveraging Zapier, which I talked to Tom and we need to switch to Make. We're leveraging Zapier, ChatGPT's new, I think it's called O3, their newest version of their AI. And the onboarding form has a bunch of prompts and a bunch of AI just plugged into it that just spits out all their copy done for them. And again, these are for business owners that are making like 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. So like they don't have all these systems built, right? But if we just give it to them in one click of a button and they plug in at least one of these things, they're just going to be able to have a better return long-term for their business. And so now what we're doing is we're just leveraging AI and speed to be able to get them up and running faster and get a quick ROI, time to value. And so this has been a game changer for us because the biggest objection we would always get is, why does it take you guys so long, like 30 days? And the problem is they're paying us $15K for this offer, right? And if they pay in full, they might not start seeing leads or calls until like month 2. That's a long time, man. Like the you're fucking me scale goes very high for them, you know, to like, dude, this isn't a good ROI. Versus now it's like, here you go, all these things. And then our client success team now is just basically analyzing what they have and what they don't and saying, plug this in immediately, do this here, and we'll help them obviously with those kind of things. And now we're just kind of holding people accountable to getting all these things filmed. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? So client success, I'm not going to talk about this too much because Philip and you guys already talked about it. This is pretty simple. So now let's talk about the learning lessons. So last year, like I said, we almost enrolled almost 200 clients in this offer. The reason why it wasn't a good, the reason why it took so long to get clients launched is because I stepped out of fulfillment too quickly and I wasn't in the weeds. And it may sound like a good thing to step out of fulfillment, like, okay, I'm just going to be like, have my sales team do it, have my CSMs do it. But when you disconnect from the product too much when you're scaling, you're not able to see like the inefficiencies in the process. And I kind of just, it was like one of those feelings where I kind of just like let my team handle it and I was like, I'll just trust them. But like deep down, I kind of knew like it wasn't working as well as it could be or it should. And so I made that mistake very, very much last year, which ultimately caused this mistake, which is not fixing the product fast enough. Because, we could have done this months ago, but it didn't happen because I was out of fulfillment. And I was just trusting my team to basically fulfill on the product. And so not fixing the product fast enough. The biggest mistake, which is what Philip talked about earlier, which I would encourage you to rewatch on your own time, was I took my focus from the done-for-you agency, which I showed you, which made us all the money and was recurring revenue, to only focusing on selling this front-end 15K offer. So as my agency was starting to sort of begin churning, I was taking my eyes off that and I was only focused on scaling my offer. So I saw it as like, okay, now it's my time to build my own offer, start my own front end, have a back end as well. But I wasn't focusing on the ascension and the back end. And deep down, my gut was telling me, yo, dude, you need to sell people from the hybrid to the back end agency. But at that time, I was listening to other people besides myself, and they were telling me like, let's just focus on this. This is working. Let's make it better. But I knew that the agency would be the best back end because it's recurring revenue. But I didn't do that. And so the recurring revenue started dropping. The front end would start working. But then what happens is towards the end of last year, what happened, right? We had an election. In the US, ad costs were going crazy. Our marketing stopped working all of a sudden in November for no reason. At that time, I was traveling in Europe too with my wife. We were planning on having a baby, so I was like disconnected for a month. My sales guy wasn't getting calls. He ends up quitting. My marketing stops working. Everything starts breaking. And I'm like, fuck, dude. How great would it have been to wake up with $250K a month in my bank account on recurring revenue right now? And so coming into this year, that's the number one focus, is to build that back up. And the cool part is we have a good brand, so we can do that. But now I've learned front end feeds the back end, obviously, and in hindsight, it just makes so much sense. But sometimes you just make costly mistakes. And the other thing too was the reason why it wasn't a clear ascension, and this might be helpful for some of you, is our agency service for the longest time. I started selling it at, when I first started, like $1,000 a month retainers, $2,000 a month retainers, $3,000 a month retainers, $5,000, right? Like you stair step your way up at the very beginning, right? Well, now we charge $10,000 a month plus 10% of net revenue share. So like how many people can afford that are making less than 100K a month? Nobody's gonna really pay for that, right? You gotta be making a couple $100,000 a month to afford someone like me and then spend more money on ad spend as well. So like not everybody can be sold into that back-end agency offer. So the other mistake I made was not customizing the retainers based off of their specific point in their business. Does that make sense? So if I could go back, which is what we're doing now, I would say, okay, cool. Like there's a partnership offer, which is that 10K plus 10%. You work directly with me, I run your ads. That's very boutique. Everybody else though, you're getting on this like lower package for 5K a month, media buying, a couple new ads, right? Maybe some editing. But it's a more mass market offer for these people that are coming through the 15K. Because if you think about it, 12-week offer, 5K a month on a 3-pay, they're just gonna keep paying more 5K every single month. And then it becomes very easy for us to say, dude, just give it to us. But again, didn't do that, so now we're doing it. Focusing on revenue and not profit. So our biggest month last year, like I said, like we were doing 389,000, and then we had 56% profit margins, but the issue with that was we were still over bloated in staff, and that came to hurt us in November because we were way too over leveraged when the marketing stopped working and the sales weren't rolling in. And that's when I really knew, okay, all these inefficiencies were happening on my team. That's when I saw the contractor expense and I was like, this is insane. And again, this is after me coming back from Europe and just realizing everything's fucking breaking. And I had to make some hard decisions and cut some people, but now we're leaner than ever, we're more profitable than ever. And even though I'm working more than I would like to be, it's also building from a better foundation. And so, it's focusing on what actually matters, which leads into this one. Way too many team members and contractors, and ultimately, like, what are you kind of building? Because for me, for the longest time, I think I was like, you know what, adspin.com, like, I'm gonna exit this thing. I'm gonna exit this thing eventually, like I'm gonna sell it. And at this point in my life, like all I wanna do is make a fuck ton of cash. I have a baby on the way coming up in 2 months. I wanna be able to retire my parents this year. I wanna be able to have my team members that have been with me for the last 3 years get paid. And I want us to make a lot of money and be able to invest into other actual wealth building assets. And so like, I think I was trying to operate from someone else's playbook of like revenue, like just sell, like top line. But then I realized, obviously, is like the only thing that really matters is actual net profit at the end of the day, take home. It doesn't matter how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And so now I'm playing a different game versus like what I was before. I was trying to play somebody else's playbook of exiting. And I was only focused on growth. And so that really obviously messed me up. But now we're here and it's all for a reason. So any questions? Thank you, I appreciate that, yeah.
Brian, from how many employees did you scale down again?
Yeah, so we had 13 last year, and even it doesn't sound like a lot. Actually, we had 15 last year at the peak, but now we're at 6. Yeah.
The revenue ratio as well as profit ratio, like how did that go with that reduction?
So now we're, yeah. So before we were still doing like 35, 40% profit margins. The peak was 56. But in the months where it wasn't, it was like 35, 36. Now we're at 65% profit margins, way healthier, way leaner. So I feel way better waking up now compared to before. And the team's happier too. Everyone's working harder. They're more bought in. Everyone has something to do. Before I was like trying to find shit to do for people to make it work because I didn't want to fire them. I was like, yeah, that's not how you run a business. Cool.
Nice. Ryan, thank you so much.
Oh, dude, thank you.
So nice. Thank you.